Hi friends, and welcome again to Starry Eden's Starry Eden. Oh, I'm going to keep that in. I'm not Starry Eden. I'm Starry Hilder, and this is my Back to Eden garden, my fully organic Back to Eden garden. Oh, we got to laugh about it sometimes. Okay, so continuing this week, I wanted to give you friends another update. And because things are growing so fast in my Back to Eden garden, I can't keep up. So I have to start doing a lot of little clips. And I decided while I'm doing these clips along the way, I'm going to show off the outstanding growth. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the comments and questions I have been having over this method. So right away, we're going to run back here to, I'm so excited, this end of the garden. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, so on this end of the garden, I love this end of the garden because look, it is like a jungle. And I love this part of the garden because it really does reflect some of our philosophy when it comes to planting, because you will see, look, potato plants next to beautiful organic kale with mustard. I've got some basil intermingled there, and here we go. We've got some heirloom tomatoes, and look at how outstandingly huge these tomatoes are. Oh, they're gorgeous. And then here's, this is a rogue pumpkin plant. It's rogue. It just kind of showed up out of the blue. And because we believe in using everything in our garden fully organic, lots of heirloom seeds kind of get blown around and things get pollinated. And seeds kind of drop on the garden floor. And this is what we get. We get rogue plants that pop up, and I've shown this to you friends before, but if you look on our floor, you will see, right next to the corn, look at this, there's a potato plant. Now the potato plant, and look at this. Mr. Hilder caged this in because it just started going wild, and again, some seeds that got blown over here, and now they are growing out of the wood chips. And this is the other thing, friends. When the seeds get blown around in our garden, we're not pushing, aside the wood chips. No, the seeds are just blowing and dispersing, and they're popping up. Now the potatoes, Mr. Hilder actually just kind of threw the potatoes out in the garden as part of the composting, and they just took root. He didn't bury them per se, they just took root. And that is the beauty of, I've said this before, planting with an outside of the box mentality. Now, I know a lot of gardeners like to keep things in rows and have things very organized. That's cool. Not so much with Starry. You'll see my garden. There's just stuff growing all over the place, but there is a method to the madness. Companion planting, talked about this before. I like to mix it up because those companion plants protect each other. Okay, but also remember, some people have been asking about companion planting. There are plants that you don't want to plant together, so be very careful if you're going to use that philosophy in your gardening. Back to Eden garden, and I've said this before, but I want to say it for a lot of newbies who are just getting wood chips and they're going to age them over the summer. You don't have to do raised beds. I know raised beds cost some money, even if you can get reclaimed material. Try to stay away from the raised bed, because this is what happened to us. We spent a lot of money on cement blocks, and we built beautiful raised beds. And then what happens is this method of gardening, because it is mimicking nature and you're creating such a beautiful soil, that soil can't be contained. Your plants every year are going to get bigger and better and healthier. They're going to produce more because the soil is actually getting healthier and not being depleted. And the chips, you're going to keep adding, and that's going to raise everything up. Pretty soon, you're going to be busting out of the raised bed box. So, don't even bother. Don't bother. And if you have bothered, it's okay. It's okay. It's still okay. But you just know that sooner or later, you're probably going to be tearing down those cedar boards that you spent money on. I'm sorry, but that I'm just saying. So, because I want to help I want to help you gardeners out, so you're not spending extra money and doing extra work. Because I know this garden method so well, and if you don't believe me, go visit Paul Gauch's, the originator of the Back to Eden garden method. You will see he does not use the raised bed method, and he'll explain it probably a little bit more eloquently than little Starry. Okay, so the other thing I want to show you, this is kind of cool, is my jungle back here. And I've talked about permaculture, but this is so cool because this jungle has purpose. And I have many wild edibles back there. In fact, I was just harvesting some St. John's wort. I just was picking a whole bunch of June berries, which are wonderful berries for jams and juices. And the St. John's wort is really great tonic for, you name it, for nerve pain and depression. And I don't have any depression, but I'm just saying it's really nice. Edible, and I've got my cherry trees back there, and if you look, I've got all different types of wild edibles with my rhubarb, all kind of intermingling and coming right down into my Back to Eden garden. And why do we have it this way? Because that brings in the birds and the butterflies and the bees and all that wonderful habitat, which is good for the garden because it helps. They function together in that really beautiful relationship, and it helps protect my plants in a natural way. The garden. Look at those cabbages. 10 days and look at what that growth did. But I want to point out, in this garden, I never, ever pull out anything that doesn't seem to line up with the rows or doesn't seem to belong. You see here, I've got a big old potato plant, and my celery's going to seed. Am I going to tear this stuff out? No, I'm not going to tear it out. I've got broccoli next to some flowers. Am I going to tear it out? No, I'm not. And even over here, where our jar tomatoes are, look, we've got a beautiful sunflower plant coming with, I don't know where this came from. I think this is probably a zucchini plant coming. And look at that. We've got another rogue potato. Should I tear all of that out of keep straight rows and make sure nothing touches? I can't garden that way. No. Sorry, doesn't believe in that. I think it's wonderful when plants just start having a mind of their own. And it's almost as if in that little rhizome spear that's underneath the soil, it's all communicating with each other, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna just grow right here. This is what I'm gonna do, and that's what my plan. Okay, here's my peppers 10 days later. You just saw what they looked like. Now they always have the fruit on the vine. The peppers are always there, but the awesome thing within 10 days is, and without a lot of heat, this is the other thing I want to point out. We didn't have 90 degrees days every single day. We've had a wide variety of wild weather here in the mountains, and still these peppers are growing like teenage boys. Look at that. They look beautiful. And not only are they producing a lot more fruit on the vine, but like these are my ones from this winter. We cut them down and we brought them inside the house, and then we put them back into the garden. And look at this. They are now finally waking up and saying, it's summer and I need to start producing. And all the little flowers are actually turning into more peppers. So very slowly they are, look at that. They are waking up and catching up to the other pepper plants that we just put in. Beautiful pepper plants and their outstanding growth. I want to mention real quickly, Appalachia, I hope I'm saying that right. Homestead, Appalachia Homestead, just did a video on her Back to Eden garden. And I love seeing people in other regions of the United States and the world, be it the UK, England, I get people from all over the place who are implementing the Back to Eden garden method. And they're sharing it with all of us on YouTube. And I love that. Now, Appalachia Homestead is doing the Back to Eden garden method, and she just posted a wonderful video about it. And it's pretty cool because it's going to tear down the regional walls of gardening and prove that Back to Eden gardening can be implemented anywhere. Why? Because God is everywhere. Nature is everywhere. And this method reflects the principle of nature and God and how He created everything. So the walls of gardening should be broken down with this method. And I highly recommend you friends going to her channel and checking it out, because she's in the south, which is a completely different region from way up here in the mountains. And you will see how well her method is working. And the other thing is, she mentioned something that I want to address and I want to expand on. Really a good point about adding amendments to your garden. And I'm going to do a video addressing this because I think it's important. But here's just a real snippet, just a real quick snippet. People have this misconception that they just get the wood chips and they just dump it on. And poof, you got a beautiful garden like Starry. Yeah, I like that. Well, our first year, we didn't have any compost. Our compost piles were not ready. We did not have any chickens. We just didn't have any access. Did we have a beautiful garden with just the wood chips? Yes, we did. We did. But because we have abundant resources now, we have our own human manure compost pile. We have our other compost pile that is always continually going that our chickens actually help create. And we've got droppings from our chickens. So we've got free fertilizer and we've got free compost. Well, why wouldn't we add it to our garden? Of course, if you have somebody show up on your piece of property with a whole truckload of chicken droppings, don't say, oh, no, I do the Back to Eden garden method. I don't need to add anything to my garden. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because adding anything organically to your Back to Eden garden, be it chicken manure or rabbit or whatever, you're going to be enhancing that soil even more. You know, the Back to Eden garden method is creating that soil, but why not feed it? If you have free resources in your backyard, you don't turn them away. Don't turn them away. So she really brought up an excellent point, and I wanted to expound on that too. Don't turn away free manure ever if you have a Back to Eden garden method. It's like looking a gift horse in the mouth and saying, nah, turn around. Yeah, go to another farm.